Hey, it's McKay. Now, Game of Thrones is finally coming back with the trailer just dropped, so we're going to break that down bit by bit, see where the different locations are, where the characters are heading, and what's going to be happening in this new season.
Enemies to the east. Enemies to the west. Enemies to the south. Enemies to the north. Whatever stands in our way, we will defeat it.
Okay, so the first really great dialogue we get here is from Cersei. She's talking to Jaime, obviously. Another, prep speech, ready to go to war with everyone. To the east is clearly Grey Worm with Dany and their entire horde of Dothraki. To the west, I think this is Silence, the Euron Greyjoy ship with the Iron Islands. Then she says enemies to the south, and we get this really interesting shot of someone sharpening their sword. Now this could be someone in Dawn, or it could probably more likely be someone in the Reach, like Randall Tarley, like Red Team Review pointed out, or it could be another fighter we have yet to meet, who's leading the hosts of the Reach. Then something that's quite interesting is that when she says enemies to the north, Arya is shown. Not Jon Snow, not Sansa, not the Bannerman of the North, not even Littlefinger. Arya. Now Arya has always had Cersei on her list. It has been one of the biggest names, one of the people she's hated the most her entire life. Now, if the conflict mainly this season is between Arya and Cersei, that could end up being a really interesting twist to the show. What's also interesting about this entire little setup here we've had is it's been kind of zooming around the different maps that we have of Westeros. So the one in Dragonstone where Dany is looks pretty awesome. It shows how Dany is ready to conquest in Westeros, and she's going to expand a lot more with her Dothraki, with the Reach, with Dawn. She's got a lot of influence coming into Westeros. And then they've built out this really huge ass map that they put in the Red Keep that Cersei's standing on top of like she's dominating it, ready to pick her target and just absolutely ruin people's lives. I definitely want to get that map in my room. Not that it would fit, but a man can hope.
We're the last Lannisters. The last ones who count.
Okay, a few things here. We've got Cersei, Jaime, and Tyrion's relation definitely going to be brought back into Season 7 again. I really want to see how Jaime and Tyrion reacts more than Cersei and Tyrion. Like, we know Cersei and Tyrion are going to be hardcore, just hating each other the entire season, trying to fight each other, probably trying to kill each other. But Jaime is in this really weird lingo phase. Now, don't get me wrong, we all know that Jaime and Cersei has a very special relationship. Something that Tyrion never had with Jaime, hopefully. In the books, Tyrion and Jaime left on very harsh terms, but in the show they didn't really have that at all, so they kind of still have that bond. Now later on, Jaime does really resent Tyrion for killing their father and hates him for that, so that's going to be one huge thing that's going to block the relationship between them. So I wonder what kind of things Tyrion will do and how their interactions will be when they meet. That will be really the most interesting thing to see. Especially when Cersei gets more and more crazy and he starts to realize that his sister is going mad. Now we also see that a whole bunch of Lannister soldiers with giant lions and their shields are heading out marching somewhere, so Cersei isn't just going to stay in the Red Keep this season. She's going to go out to her enemies and try to defeat them in the field. Now that may not be the best idea going against Dothraki and those giant ass dragons Tyrion's standing in front of, but against the Reach, when most of their ships and men are away with Dany, it's probably a good time to strike.
I was born to rule the Seven Kingdoms. And I will.
Okay, so finally Dany is in Westeros and she's going to join as a player for the Iron Throne. Now from what we can see here, she's landed in Dragonstone, which is the ancestral home of the Targaryens where Aegon made his conquest, one of the best places for her to start. Also, it's a place I really wanted to explore more as like a set, as a concept, because it's really cool in the books. Now, they're clearly showing us the front gates, we're going to see this awesome throne, so we hopefully get to see a lot more of this place that we never really got to see in the previous seasons. We just kind of saw that one room with a big ass table. So clearly it's not going to take long for Dany to start invading Westeros, taking new lands, and fighting Cersei and the Lannisters. Now we can see here the Unsullied have broken through into a Lannister stronghold, a castle of some kind. It could be Castle Rock, but I doubt it's more probably like Lannister support or something like that. It's got some really cool art up here with the Lannisters and stuff, which is just a hint at the beginning of what I think is going to be the biggest ramp up I've ever seen in a show's production. This entire trailer just full of beautiful shots and locations and sets and more expansion we've ever seen before, really awesome stunts and explosions. So I feel like the production value of this season is going to be way higher than we've ever seen before. Now the interesting thing for me is that Dragonstone is really close to King's Landing, and I think that would be her first target. You think it's where the Iron Throne is, it would be a very good seat for her to start expanding from. That's where Aegon first landed in actual proper Westeros. But what we see here is them invading what could be somewhere in the Westerlands, so it's going to be really interesting to see how her invasion actually goes forward. If she's going to start attacking on the other side of the continent first, that's a really weird strat.
The king in the north!
Your father and brothers are gone, yet here you stand. Last best hope against the coming storm.
King in the North. Now, if Jon in charge, he's going to have to deal with a lot of the problems we have in the North. What the wildlings are going to do, where they're going to settle, what kind of fights they're going to do, are they going to go up north with their armies first, or are they going to go south first, trying to convince other people to join them. There's going to be really big stuff happening there. So the most immediate problem he has to deal with is definitely going to be Littlefinger. He's kind of moved a little bit from the corner of the room to like kind of close to the table but still to the side. So he's clearly going to start making a more active role to manipulate people, move people in positions, and kind of get what he wants out of this little group here. But he's still going to try and do it from the background way and move people like pawns. Now he sees Sansa as his best hope of regaining any kind of power he had in this group, because she is the actual rightful ruler of the North, because her brothers and father are dead and Jon Snow's a bastard. He just kind of yoinked that from her when he was randomly crowned King of the North. Now he also says that she's the last best hope against the storm that's coming, which is clearly saying that he doesn't think that Jon Snow's up to leading, especially with his fail at the Battle of the Bastards. Now you know what I think about this relationship between Sansa and Jon if you watch these two videos, so I know that she's definitely not going to be entirely trusting of Jon's ability to lead, but I don't see her falling for Littlefinger again because that didn't really work out last time. Plus, if Jon really thinks that Littlefinger's going to be a threat, he's going to do a bit of a Ned Stark or a Brandon Stark and just kind of straight up beat the living shit out of him. Now we also got a few other little images over the top of this dialogue with Theon here. Seems to be a fire going on, probably a battle. Looks like he's on a boat from like the stairs going up behind him. So probably going to be more tragedy in his storyline. Great, that's always great. We have Melisandre arriving in what could be Dragonstone, which could be the kind of link between Jon Snow and Daenerys that gets them to talk in the first place. Or it could be her looking at Jon Snow and Daenerys talking as they walk along these like steps, which could be where she's kind of like wondering, do I go up there, do I like tell him he's there, he did banish me, what's going to happen? Kind of like what Jorah was doing when he first saw Dany again after he was banished.
If we don't put aside our enmities and band together, we will die. And then it doesn't matter whose skeleton sits on the Iron Throne.
So first off here, we get something that really looks to confirm something that happens in the plot leaks. I won't talk about it here, but if you know what I'm talking about, then you'll know what I'm talking about. We also get a shot of Arya kind of camping out, heading her way north. Now this could be beyond the wall, but I doubt it. I think this is getting more wintry in the north. We also get another creepy shot of Littlefinger doing his little shady stuff. Badass Dothraki fighting and giant-ass Horde jumping on their horses, doing backflips and, you know, awesome ass shit. And more confirming the ship battle here, which seems to be a little bit one-sided with one ship kind of erupting on fire whilst also getting boarded at the same time. So that should be really, really cool. And all of this is over Davos warning everyone again and again and again that the White Walkers are coming and we need to fight them.
The Great Wall is here.
And it looks fucking sick. So we get the mountain in what looks like the boss's armor I've seen in the show so far. The awesome ass helmet. It reminds me so much of that kind of character that Brienne of Tarth's actor played in Star Wars. We have some kind of image of what could be Jon, maybe some other people running around on the deck of maybe a boat. I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. Then we have Jon going all Stark on Littlefinger. More Lannister guards fighting with the Unsullied. Arya, Dothraki, Jon, Tormund, those kind of people we saw before beyond the wall, running for their lives. Grey Women and Missandei getting their action on, and sadly some more screen time with Abara randomly kissing Yara for some reason, so I don't understand. The lion getting knocked over, someone jumping into water as like a jet of what could be dragon fire flies over top of them, and this hand sticking out of a door, which a lot of people think is possibly Jorah, but I think this is somewhere that Jorah's gone to try and find a cure to his grayscale. I think he's gone to this kind of place where a whole bunch of people with grayscale are locked up in these different kind of prisons. Maybe that's a place where he can try to figure out where his grayscale is, or maybe it's somewhere he gets put because he has grayscale. And then that final shot of the Dothraki horde streaming in with a dragon flying over top of them, which looks so epic. So that's what Season 7 is going to be. Epic fighting, huge expansions, new players join the realm, with a few side quests from Arya and Jon heading up north. So if you're really hyped because it's Game of Thrones time, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to be picking small parts of this trailer and really breaking it down, expanding on what's going to happen in Season 7, what we already know, what's going to contribute to it, and a whole bunch more. Thanks for watching.
Hey!